Hi, and welcome back to DS Tech Mirror. This channel is dedicated to deliver content related to SharePoint online customizations. This video is the fourth of the React video tutorial series. In this video, we are going to focus on component lifecycle. If you have not watched the previous videos, I highly recommend you to pause this video, go back to the previous ones, check that out, and then come back and continue with this video. If you have already checked out that video, that's really great. Now let's move on. And here is what we have seen in the last video. In the last video, we have explored on state, how every component has its own state, the changes in the state re-renders the component, and how it affects the rendering of the component. We have also seen the virtual DOM concept and how React uses this unique concept to improve its performance. So in this video, we will go in depth about component lifecycle. The lifecycle of the component can be split into three phases. The mounting phase, where your component gets mounted onto the page for the first time. And then while updating, on performing some actions on the component like a button click or any other actions which results re-rendering of the component like the state changes. And then unmounting. Suppose you want to toggle the show of a component and hide of a component, then it is like unmounting the component from that particular page. So these are the three main phases of the component lifecycle. Each of these phases comprises of inbuilt functions. For example, in mounting phase, we have 4 different functions. First is the constructor, get derived state from props, then comes the render, and then component did mount. We are going to go deep into each and every functions listed over here with an example so that it will be easy to understand and we will never forget when we learn with an example. So let's go back to the demo. This is my DS shopping cart React app. We are building it from the starting of this video tutorial series. And right hand side is my result. The JS script that we have opened here is the welcome.js. If you remember, this was the first component that we developed when we started developing this React app. If you have forgotten it or want to refresh further on this, you can pause the video over here and you can go back to the previous videos and come back here and continue. So this welcome.js is a component, and in this component we have a constructor and then we have a render method. The rendering of this default message has been toggled or has been put under logic with the help of this function. This is a simple function. What it does is, if there is a props.name which is passed along with this component, then it displays this name. Otherwise, if it is null, it goes with the default message. That's why in all the welcome component messages you can see over here, when there is no props passed onto the component, we get DS shopping cart, which is the default message. In the other messages, other components, we have a different props.name like products, my cart, orders. If I go back to the products.js, you can see over here how I have passed the props.name along with the component call. So this was a simple logic included inside a simple function. But do you know that you can include all these logics with the built-in functions itself? Most of the logics can be covered with the built-in functions. Now we are going to see that. Constructor in a component is the first method that will be called. So in the constructor, we will be calling the super constructor. After that, we will be declaring the state variables. Next method that we are going to see is get derived state from props. Now, this method will be handy if you want to update the props value with value onto a state of that component before the component gets rendered. Remember, when a component state is changed, it triggers re-render. But if you have a facility to update the state before it renders for the first time, that is really great. So that is what this method does. Now, let me rearrange this logic inside the default method that we have. So in order to define this method, we have to have this static keyword, then get derived state from props. Now you can see over here, my method name here is having a camel casing. Okay, and the main thing that you have to remember, along with this method, you will be passing two parameters. One is the props and the second one is the state. The state represents the current state of the component and the props represent the props that is being passed onto the component during the component call. So after this constructor, when the state is defined and declared, this method is called, and inside this method you can return the state object after updating it with the props value. Now let me update the default message. Since I have passed this props, I can, without using this keyword, I can just have it as props.name. So this also will work. That's it. Now let me remove this functionality. And here, instead of calling a function, I can simply call the state variable. This dot state dot default message. On saving it, I get the same results, except this one is vanished, but the others are the same result I'm getting. Now, in order to rectify this, I can even add the logic that I had already included in header function inside this default function. I have included the same if condition inside my get derived state from props. The only single difference is that you have to assign some value to the state variable. So I have assigned the same value with an addition of an exclamatory mark in order for us to differentiate between this assignment from the original assignment. And the rest of the else part was the same. Default message is assigned to props.name. Let me save it. And yes, you have got the updated message from get derived state from props. So this comes in handy in all such circumstances where you have to update the state before rendering a method. Now, next method is the render method that we have already seen. We are using the render method in every component, and in this method we have a written statement, and the written statement returns an HTML tags. So if you have multiple HTML tags, you have to nest it inside one parent tag, a div tag or react.fragment tag. Next is the component didMount. Component didMount method runs after the render method. So whatever actions that you want to do, whatever logic that you want to make, when a component has already rendered, then you can include it inside your component didMount method. So remember, in our component didMount, we can update state object also. When you update a state object inside a component did mount method, it calls for a re-render, and this re-render is not on mounting phase, it will enter into an updating phase. And in an updating phase also we have similar method. So I will explain it to you when we reach to the updating phase. But now I will not include the component did mount method inside this one, but I will enter inside the products. Inside products, we have ebooks. Let me go inside ebook. And inside ebook, we have this render method where we have price, year, master, under button, discount. So here, I will be including the component did mount method inside my ebook.js. Also, it is not necessary to include every live component methods inside your component. They are optional. You can use it or you can ignore it. After render, I'm going to place component did mount, called immediately after component is mounted. Setting state here, as I told you, setting state here will re-trigger the rendering, and it will enter into an update phase, rendering. Component did mount. So what logic I'm going to include here is I'm going to add a paragraph over here, and I have to show the users, show my customers that you can apply discount from here. Click the button here to apply discount. I want to enter that message over here. So here, let me enter a paragraph text, and here I want a state variable, this dot state dot discount message. Currently, discount message is not in my state variable yet, but I can include it anytime. Here, and I'm gonna make it empty purposefully so that I can update it after my component gets mounted. So going back to the component, this dot set state discount message, click below to get exclusive discounts. I like exclamatory marks. Okay. So this script will update my state over here. Now let's save it and check it. So you can see it over here, but it has rendered everything so fast that it was very difficult to check whether it rendered along with the mount phase rendering or it rendered after the mount phase rendering and inside the component did mount method. So what we are going to do is we are going to add delay to this setting of the state. So for that you can use set timeout function. This is a set timeout function, and inside this function I'm going to include the statement. Again, we can see an arrow function in display over here, and here for timeout you have to enter the timeout. I'm including 3000 over here. Let's save it. Now you can see the delay. It has rendered, and wait for the message. Yes. Now after rendering of the component, we got this message when the component did mount method was called. It's great, right? So these are the messages that is a part of a mounting phase. Now let's go check out the methods that are included in the update phase. In the updating phase, we have get derived state from props. No, this is not a mistake. I have not included it by mistake. In updating phase also we have get derived state from props method. Yes, before rendering, this is the method which is called first. That is why the same method which is present in the mounting phase gets called even after a state gets updated after render. Okay, so in order to define any logic inside the get derived state from props method, you have to think twice because it gets called when a component gets updated. The next one is should component update. So this method will come in hand if you have certain logic in place but you don't want to update the component if certain data or certain validation is not happening. For example, you can stop the rendering if the user input was incorrect. So when the return statement is false, in this should component update, then the updating will stop, the component doesn't re-render. And again, we have the render method. This render method is a part of mounting phase as well and updating phase as well. Next is get snapshot before the update. If you have an experience in SharePoint coding in languages like C#, as ASP.NET, you have these parameters called after properties and before properties. So the concept with after properties and before properties is the same which is happening over here. Here, get snapshot before update. So this method helps us to retrieve the past values even after the update has been done. So this is helpful in order to checking the previous state and the current state. The last but not the least one is the component did update. Similar to component did mount in the mounting phase, we have a component did update phase also. Here also you can include any logic that involves in aftermath of rendering, even after the update. So let's look into these methods in depth now. Now here I have component did mount, and I told you previously that I'm not gonna add that method, component did mount method over here, because we have already declared this message over here. But what I'm going to do now, copy this method, come back here, paste it over here in order to show you how this method gets called in the update phase. Now similarly here, let me remove all this. So this is the static method, get derived state from props. I'm going to add a simple alert over here to show you how it gets called. See? Remember, it is calling twice. So in the update phase, this method gets called first. The next method is should component update. So should component update will execute after this method in the update phase. Should component update. Call to determine whether the change in props and state should trigger a re-render. So you can check the change in the props and state in order to re-render the component. Now, when I click the discount button over here, what it happens? It changes the price over here, right? It changes to 150. So I'm gonna add method over here. Add an if condition if this dot state dot price is equal to 150, then return false. Let me save it and quickly remove this thing because it is disturbing our code. Now what I've done, if this state dot price, when it changes to 150, it should return false. Let me click it. On clicking, my component is not rendering again. When I remove this and save it, okay, now I have removed it. I'm gonna click this. Now I can see the changes. But when I apply this and save it, no change, because the component rendering is stopped by returning false. This is how you can perform validations to any changes that happens to a prop or state. Next method is render, which we have already seen. Next one is get snapshot before update. Here what we are going to do, I'm going to remove this for now or make it true. Okay. And get snapshot before update. Let me go back here. Remember, my placement of this method anywhere inside the component does not involve any change in the logic or in the hierarchy in which these methods get called. But for easy understanding, I like to place all the methods which will be called before rendering on top of it in its hierarchical order. And the methods which will be called after rendering will be placed after rendering method in its hierarchical order. Okay, I like to do that. So below this, get snapshot before update. Here we will be passing the properties like previous props and previous state. Both in camel case. Okay, and here what I'm gonna do is display the previous state, which is my price. So after applying the discount, my price has changed. So I'm gonna show my customer that how much he has saved by applying the discount. So below this price, I'm going to add another P over here. I'm going to add an ID over here. Okay. And a simple HTML thing I'm going to do over here. Document dot get element by ID of dot inner text equal to this dot this name, previous state dot you can pick all the previous state variables from here, state variables, and this is my price which has got changed. Save it. My component has rendered. Now after refreshing the page, I can see my message below from the component did mount, and here right now whichever I've added inside get snapshot before update, I've seen over here also. I'm getting it over here also. When I click apply discount, You can see my price has been updated, but my previous state, which is 250, that is also coming. So what I'm gonna do is add some aesthetic over here. If my previous state dot price is equal to the current state, this dot state dot price, then I'm not going to do anything. So when it is not, I'm going to add this one. And here I'm going to add the message also. Saving. And here I'm going to subtract the price from this dot state dot price minus price. I believe this is a string operation, I think. Let's see how it results. Apply discount. I'm getting this minus 100. Yes. I have saved 100 rupees. Why this price? Because my previous state is higher than the current state. So I have to just change these positions to get a positive value. But yes, you can see what is happening over here. I can have this logic. I can retrieve the previous state or previous value from the memory of this component using this get snapshot before update and use it for my logic. So I can show my customers that you are saving 100 rupees from the discount which was applied. So that is great. Now let me reposition this to get a positive value. Apply discount. Yes, I got 100. If you have also noticed, initially when there is no change in the state, previous state here, the display value was empty, just as we wanted. Let's look into the next method. The component did update. So I'm going to add this method over here, component did update. This is the last method which will be called in the update phase. Here I'm going to simply add a statement asking my customer if and can I add it to the cart. So let's do that. So besides this button or below this button, I'm going to have another paragraph over here, and here also I'm going to have an ID statement. Add to cart message. Here, document, I'm going to simply add this message, and I'm going to have this timer also, just as we did in the component did mount. So let me first add this document dot get element by ID dot inner text equal to like to check out, would you like to add this product to your cart? And this I'm going to keep it in a set out timer inside this, and this time I'm going to give 2000. after my mounting phase gets done. Oops. Now I have to handle this. Even before applying the discount, I'm getting this message. So what I'm going to do, have a little logic over here. I want to check if my apply button message is changed or not. Here I think the button message is the state object. This is why we have to use state object, because it is exclusively capturing the state of the component. And when the component state changes, and according to the changes, you can apply logic by retrieving the current state and applying logic to it. So if my button message, which is this dot state dot button message, where's my button message? This dot state dot button message equal to discount applied then I would like this logic to be rendered. The display message from component did mount is rendered. Now I'm going to click apply discount, and the discount is applied and saving is also shown. And after that, after 2000 nanoseconds gap, that is 2 seconds gap, I can see this message also after discount is applied. So this is how you can make use of the existing functions and apply your logic. And because these existing functions have certain hierarchy attached to it due to the life cycle process, you can make use of them and apply your own logic that has to be rendered before updating a component or before or after updating a component. So that marks the end of the updating phase. Next is the component unmounting phase. In the component unmounting phase, we have only one method, which is component will mount. So in our component which we want to unmount, we will be including this component, and whenever the whole component gets unmounted, that is when from the parent class you are applying some kind of toggle logic and removing this component based on this logic from the display, this method will be called. And remember how the component knows that it is being removed from the page, because of the virtual DOM concept. So initially the virtual DOM knows the effect that is going to happen to your component. So when it does know, then it calls the lifecycle methods accordingly, and when a true update is happening to the page, you can see the effect or the logic behind this component will unmount method displayed in front of you. To implement this function, now we have gone to the products component, which is the parent component of my ebooks, and here we are going to add the logic to show or hide this component. So what I'm going to do here is, here in this component we have only render method. I'm going to add a constructor over here called the super constructor, and have a state object, and this is, I have a show toggle button over here. Let me name it as toggle, and equal to, now it is true. Okay. Okay, using this toggle state, I'm going to display this component. For that, inside render, I'm going to initialize an element parameter, and this will be my element. Okay, so this is the speciality of React. We can assign HTML elements to an HTML elements to a variable, and we can use it. and here I'm going to use element. Okay, let me save it and check whether this implementation is correct. Okay. No. So I forgot to add the flower braces, which is a must over here. I'm able to display the element, the component. Okay, here what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a logic over here. So if my this dot toggle so if this is true, then I will have it, my display will be, my component will be displayed. Okay, and again in my return statement I will have a button over here in order to change the toggle state. Welcome to products, and here I will have a button, type is button, and on click equal to curly braces, I'm going to call a function to change the toggle state. So I have this toggle function, toggle method. Okay, this dot toggle method. Here I will have toggle method, and this will be my arrow method implementation. And inside this I'm going to set this dot state dot this dot set state equal to false. This dot set state of toggle equal to false. What if false? I'll change this as true, and this as false. To make it more dynamic, what will I do? About this variable boolean equal to this dot state dot toggle. Okay, and this one will be, this should be not of this one, and this is bool. Okay, now what will I do? I will make it as flag because bool is also a type, flag. I'll rename it. Now this is done. So what I'm doing, whatever the toggle state is, whether it's true or false, it will reverse the state and it will set my toggle state. Okay, and this is my button. I get a button over here. And nothing is set. This is because my toggle, out of this I should set this out of this, and here inside this one I have to reset it. Element equal to, okay, let's see. I got the element, I've got all the functionalities that I've included in this component. Now I'm going to click this button. So pardon me, I have not added styles to this button, so this button is appearing as a dot over here. So let us not concentrate on the style at this moment. So right now I'm going to click it. Okay, so the mistake that I've made was, so make sure that you call this toggle, this dot state dot toggle, and here inside the if element, if this toggle is true, then my element will be updated as ebooks. Otherwise, it will be a simple element. So now let's try it. See, my element got hidden. So now this toggling function is complete. So let's go back to ebooks, and here I can include the method like component will unmount. So now what I will do, I'm going to add an alert and say ebook component is unmounting. Please check out our other products. Okay, now let me save it. So in the ebooks, on the component unmounting, I will have this alert. So on click of this button, the ebook component is unmounting. Please check out our other products. So before the component can unmount, this particular method is called. And now the component is unmounted. So this is the last phase that we have seen in the life cycle of components, and this is the last method in the unmounting phase. So guys, I hope you have got a deep insight of each and every method that is present in the life cycle methods of a component. So you can leverage the usefulness of these methods to your own logic and build brilliant React app. So guys, thank you for watching this video. If you like the content what I'm sharing, please like, share and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to receive the notifications for our upcoming videos. So please stay tuned. Much love and keep learning.